let me briefly also set the context for this panel. The idea here, what we're going to talk for the next 1.5 hours is how do we fix up accountability, right? So no matter what the idea and the regulation and regulatory authority that you set up, we can certainly argue to this some extent in terms of what should be those ideas at place or not. But once this becomes the law of the land, has to be followed. And while you are following, where does the buck stop? The one most important thing for me is the uncertainty in whatever I'm doing. So let's say even if I have to travel, I have to go out of Delhi, I need to know my clear path as to what is the mode of conveyance I can take up, and be sure that by next morning, if I have to visit Jaipur, Lucknow, Varanasi, Allahabad, Kullu Manali, whatever, I can reach there. So I should have that clear, certain path. And when there is uncertainty and things are not sure around it, then that becomes a problem. To give you some anecdotal examples right from my own experience, CCS also hosts this righttoeducation.in website, right, that we created. And our own experience at times in the interaction with the government officials, they said quite a bit of things that they don't know about Right to Education Act and the various courts judgment and the various rules adopted and the modifications has happened. They actually have referred to our website, which is a non-government organizations created effort initiative, that even the system there is no mechanism to know, right? And since we host this, we also get queries and calls. I'll mention a couple of those which gives you a starting example. I received a call from a school principal from some far away rural areas of Bikaner who runs a private school. And what was his question? His question was, okay, Rajasthan has one of the, at least in my knowledge, one of the best model of RT implementation in terms of the fee reimbursement, etc. So they have a good mechanism and things have also worked well. Couple of consequences. So the school owners, the school manager says, sir, I have submitted all documents to get my fee reimbursement. The officer also has visited and verified and cross-checked all the documents, not once but 6 times. But the final deal is he wants 25% as a cut, which I don't want to give, and please help me out, how do I go about it, right? In many states, including Maharashtra, so far government has not really been able to fix up what should be the admission level, whether it should start at nursery or standard 1, right? In the morning at the starting only, I mentioned about how the corruption is coming into the picture, and day by day it is increasing, right? I was there in Lucknow. We had example from Delhi itself, from Punjab, Haryana, where schools started closing down. In Rajasthan, what happened, it's not only just the private school, even the government school started closing down. So you get this beautiful dynamic sitting there and observing from bird eyes views, right? Other important, interesting thing I learned was from Rajasthan, where it is a good model of implementation also. So the per child expenditure, which was when they started implementing around 9,000, etc. per annum, which they were revising every year. And now with this 25% reservation, what happened that students from government schools started shifting to private schools, which led to seats, unfilled seats in the government schools, which came down to below the level of student minimum 20 in per schools. And then those government schools started closing down. So you also see that beautiful dynamic. And then I was interacting with the education secretary of Rajasthan, and he says, now what I wish to know, since those students are moving to private schools, but our expenditure remains the same, and when every year we we calculate per child our expenditure, that is going up. So now what they started from 9,000, they had to revise to somewhere 11,000 to 14,000. This year 17,000, right? So these are some beautiful things happening where we need to observe, learn, and understand things, which goes into policy making. But the key thing remains as a question is, where does the buck stop, right? If, as in morning session, Ekta talked about that one typo error, and it halts your process for 1 year, who is accountable for this? So that is the question we are going to explore through this panel. We have 3 panelists. All the speaker profiles are there. My colleague Miraj, who started an informal school in tribal area in Bhopal, and thereafter graduated, started a primary school, and now also runs a high school level school. We have Amitabh Virmani, who is with the Education Alliance, and also previously worked, initiated and led ARC. And then we have Shashi Kumar, who is from Karnataka Association. So they all 3 going to bring that beautiful perspective, which I think should be very beneficial for all of us to learn. So let's take from their experience.